You guys have had some phases in, like you've had like some rock bottom times in skateboarding, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah.
That's a polite way of putting it.
Sorry, I was trying to.
You can actually no. So we're easier to count the good times, like
Then the bad ones.
You've had a few good times.
2 or 3 good times.
You guys are legends, and I mean that. But thinking back to like those rock
Don't you
bottom
have to
times
be
in
dead to
skateboard-
be a legend? Isn't that
That's what I thought.
Well, I'm saying it, you aren't saying it,
People
so.
throw that term around, but in this case, we're probably on par for that terminology.
But either way,
close enough to
they've
dead.
been labeled.
We are close enough to dead, right? Hey, we're one fucking step from the groove.
But
he
is it
lit the
weird?
candles
Is that
and
the
the
Ace Frehley
formaldehyde
tune?
smell
Yeah,
in
right?
here. Yeah.
Is it weird? Like, I'm just trying to imagine being in a phase in your life when you think everything sucks and everything's over, or whatever, however you're feeling, wallowing, things suck, and then X amount of years later, you're legends. You didn't just disappear. You didn't go away. It's not over, even though you might have thought it would have been. So what's your
Speaking
guys'
myself
advice
in the
to stick around and to come back?
I mean, like I said, I wasn't that good. I can describe it best being a pro skater for me in the 80s is like a sparring partner for Christian Hosoi and Lance Mountain and Tony Hawk and Jeff even, you know what I mean? It's like, these guys were the top. I was lucky and fortunate enough to be good enough to be a pro skater, but I mean, my days were numbered. If I didn't do something, I would be laying floors with Jeff. Or worse, because I can't even swing a hammer.
But at least you were real with yourself about that.
See, 2 of them.
That's smart. In
Yeah,
itself.
but that's
You
not
weren't
why.
delusional.
But that's not. I didn't really start the business because of that. I just kind of did it. You know, it just kind of happened one day. The opportunity just kind of was just like, well, fuck it, I'm going to do this. And then I found out the hard way that I can't just quit doing it. Not only A, because that's how I make a living for myself, is B, I just can't stop it. It's just what I do now. And if it wasn't, I mean, you know, if it wasn't for me trying to make skateboards. And still be able to make my boards and Jeff's boards and like Schroeder's boards in a time where they weren't welcome, really. You know what I mean?
I was going to ask you about that because you were giving people boards who they weren't the hottest thing out. Like you gave like Hensley was gone for a while, and you gave Hensley a board, and
That's who I relate to.
Dwayne,
You know?
and you're giving people boards that there's a risk there.
You know what it is too? It's not just the risk. It's
Yeah.
they take the risk on me.
Well, I just think it's cool. There's been times where it seemed like you've given people pro models when maybe no one else would have.
I think that's part of that's part of a perception thing too, because what you have to realize too, and this is a sad fucking commentary on the state of affairs in skateboarding these days, is Dwayne Peters moves wood.
Yeah.
Matt Hensley moves wood. I move wood. Now, you got fucking how many hundreds of professional skateboarders out there that can't sell it, and they're fucking ballers. Motherfucking ballers in what they do. And they can't move wood.
Well, you know what it was too is during that time when we're bringing on Matt, or even John was different because Cardiel he rode for Dogtown and they had just kind of gone under. I had just met him at a PAL contest and we just thought, sick. I never heard the word sick before. Sick, it's fucking sick. And we just like, well, yeah, that is sick. That's rad. And then, all the guys on our team just thought he was cool, man. They thought he was sick. And he was like, oh, dude, I'd love to come down and skate in Huntington Beach. I'm well, fuck, here's my number. Come down and skate. And he called me. He said, hey, Dogtown went out of business. Would you consider giving me some boards? I go, fuck, dude, I'll give you your own model. That's how it happened. And then I didn't know really the impact he would have. I just thought he was fucking sick.
That was the fucking golden age of the label.
But it was like innocent.
I thought there was a gnarlier one though. I thought you were 99, 2000, 2001. I thought
when
you were
a giant.
Well, that's when
I thought you were the best selling. Is that true?
It was one of the best selling brands. But before that, during the Cardiel age and stuff like that, I was working out of my garage.
Right.
Yeah.
And for a guy like John and Gino and Dill to just kind of be down,
Yeah.
I was down. So if you're down with me and I was down. You know what I mean? That's how it kind of worked.
Gagney and Upson and Gino and Dill and fucking Cart. Like,
and there's kind of a domino theory. One thing kind of leads.
Yeah.
Like one thing kind of leads to another from a guy.
Yeah.
Like with Cardiel, it came from us meeting him. It's one of the first kind of outside guys. There was Joey Terche skated for us, Troy Clower, rest in peace. these kind of guys all kind of led Arco. But like John goes, oh, dude, you should hook up my friend Timmy. He's talking about Upson.
Yeah.
He's sick. And I'm all, fuck, dude, that works for me.
Sick.
Call the guy up. Shut the fuck up. You know, and we send him boards, he comes out. You know what I mean? And then Tim Upson is like, dude, you should hook up my friend Jim Gagney.
Yeah.
Right? We hook up Gagney. You know what I mean? It all kind of turns in from one to another.
So what was it like for you in those years that he just referenced? Like, I ran a skate shop in Jersey. I couldn't keep your boards in the
That was
fucking
crazy.
store.
I shouldn't
You were
have happened.
outselling Element in Element's peak, and you were both under the same roof. That was insane.
Yeah.
I was at a shop at the
The
time.
Black Label started out of my garage.
Yeah.
And with me, Jeff, and we've had little warehouses from time to time, but it's always just been me.
Yeah.
And usually one person like Jeff helping me. And that's it. And my wallet, which has nothing in it. It's, you know, so
It's all bluff and balls.
There he is.
it is.
It's all bluff and balls. That's the label.
It's just go for it, man. You got to stay in it. And I have the best intentions all the time to keep it going no matter what. And that's doing it out of my garage. I've done it at little warehouses. We've had my entire house be offices and shit like that. And that's exactly where it is now. But at some point, as skateboarding kind of started making a resurgence again, like in early 2000s or whatever, around 98 or so, Giant they hit me up and they say, maybe you should work with us. Well, in all reality, I owed the wood shop a couple dollars, and we were a couple.
Yeah.
$6 or $7.
And honestly, it's not even that much money today, you know what I mean? But it was just like, I was at a point where it's like, I won't even be able to continue on, you know what I mean? So what do I got to do? And then they came up with a plan to work with them. And I even offered them the entire business just for that little sum of money I owed them, and they was like, no, we don't want it.
It was like you couldn't do anything wrong in those years.
But it was funny, that was...
It was cool because for the first time,
it just kind of blew up.
in the first time in the label's history, we were afforded the opportunity to make a video and to basically sit there and go, hey man, this is what we're about. And you know, and whatever, the Label Kills was fucking badass. We got to stand up and go, we're Black Label, bitches.
And it was cool. It was the first time we made a video, and we did it during a time of, 411 and modern day street skating at its pinnacle, really. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So for us to come in and make a video starring Jeff Grosso, Matt Hensley, Solomon Agaw, Wade Spire,
Neil Hendricks. Who the fuck wants to watch Neil Hendricks and Jeff Grosso skate in 2004?
well, I did.
You did. That's
Right.
cool. Thanks.
But here's the thing.
And a lot of people, other people
everybody
did too, seem to. Yeah.
Everybody did, except for the companies that decided that
This wasn't cool.
nobody believed. That's the problem. Nobody wanted to believe in where we came from. Everybody just wanted to grab what was next. I believed, as we all did, of where we came from, and that's what Label Kills was. And it was funny. This is the 15-year anniversary of Label Kills.
Yes.
This year, right? That's why we're doing like a little something with it. But
He's got a little video project.
a little thing coming. We're gonna have a Label Kills reunion party this year. So it'll be it was one of the first videos I have, which was at the time considered old man skateboarding. We weren't even that old, you know. And then as we were making the video, it progressed my mind to going, I want this video to have some new kids in it too. And I kind of went out during the filming of that video as we were doing it to get some new talent, some young guys, unheard of guys. That's where Adam Mofaro came from,
Yeah.
Jubb,
Svitak.
guys like that. You know what I mean? It all kind of helped. And then once those guys start falling into place, the whole video seemed to be, wow, this is like generations of a bunch of rad dudes on the same team.
Pat Smith.
You've always been mellow about guys leaving. Even you've like I said, you brought all these legends in and guys like that you just named, and when they go on to other things, you've always been the guy that's like, okay, good luck, like I'll help you. Here's footage, whatever you need.
Well,
like,
I definitely. It doesn't mean it's always easy, and there's times you get pissed. But at the end of the day, all I really have is to be cool. You know what I mean? That's all I really have. I can't say anything. I'm more fortunate that these guys have skated for me.
Did you leave for Antihero? Mm-hmm. How was that?
That sucked.
It was fucked.
but he's always been like
But we're here
cordial
today.
about
We're
it,
here
right?
today.
See, this is my question and my point. Getting to that, like your stem at Madrid. Mm-hmm. How did that end?
Well, see, that might be kind of part of it. I've skated for. I'm probably one of the first guys that had skated for a lot of sponsors. I had jumped sponsors quite a bit.
We were known as whores, dude, and that's the thing I was gonna say. Like, we were the original fucking.
We ended up getting a reputation, he and I, but it started with me, and he kind of followed suit with what I did a lot, and we just were. It wasn't like we were pissed. You're a little different than me. I was never pissed at companies I skated for, really. I was more stoked on doing something else. That was kind of the difference.
After you left Madrid, didn't they run your board with not an ex-rider written on ex-team rider?
It wasn't.
You weren't pissed on that?
Yeah, I was pissed.
Sure. It said that on the board?
Yeah, it said
Yeah.
No way.
See, my Madrid.
And they ran it for how long?
This is the 40-year anniversary from Madrid Skateboards, by the way. So I'm gonna give him a little plug.
Jerry Madrid's fucking badass.
Jerry Madrid is badass. Jerry Madrid gave me my very first real start and real opportunity, and he was the one that said,
Well, I don't know about that. But
well, no, I believe.
come on, the XNO Veriflex board was bad to the bone. Dude.
But Jerry let me draw my own graphics.
Yeah, that's true.
With no exceptions. Not even really
Yeah,
like.
do what you want.
Just do what you want.
But didn't he take your graphics and run?
Yes, so-
you're drawing graphics for year as an ex-team rider.
Yeah.
For what do you say? It was 6 months.
So yeah, so when I got on Madrid, I drew my own graphics. It's a little guy Jack in a Box coming out of
One of the coolest graphics ever.
It's the first one I ever drew. I love that graphic. Thank you, Jerry, for giving me that opportunity. And I had a great time. And I got to skate with Mike Smith. I learned how to party. I learned how to drink and do all kinds of cool things
fucked.
with Mike Smith. All right?
Thank you so much.
And Madrid. But eventually, it was just time for me to move on, and we wanted to skate for Schmidt sticks. Correct?
Look, the difference with the difference.
But actually,
the difference being like between our little fucking Abbott and Costello act. I was a fucking egocentric, egotistical fucking brat. You know,
Sure.
very, very snobby, very fucking. The world owes me something. You know, I'm so fucking hot shit, right? John was just grateful to be there, you know, and so we kind of offset each other a little bit. And
did he carry some of the weight that you put out there? Like what they had
for
thought
sure.
In the
you were-
–
beginning.
yeah, for sure. But he was a few steps ahead of me. So he got to turn pro first, and he got his opportunity at Madrid. And originally I was going to go over to Madrid and turn pro for Madrid with him, and we were going to return Madrid to its previous glory or whatever. But then the bottom line was production, and it became about money.
Right.
And what we were really looking for was a home and for quality product. And Paul had just moved out from, we were down at Del Mar skating, and Paul pulled in a U-Haul, and he's all, check it out, boys. And he showed us some of his wares that he had been working on, basically building in his mother's garage or whatever. And the motherfucker made furniture. And him and I just like looked at each other and we're like, we're gonna ride for this dude. And
He didn't ask us to ride for him.
no, we just forced our way in.
I had a connection with Paul. Well, like I said, I had a connection with Paul.
We did.
Since a few years prior, I used to ride for his rails. Right, he'd come down and stay with me at the Whittier skate park at contests. We'd package rails in my bedroom while he was there, so we could sell some rails to the skate park. You know, everything was so low budget, small time, anything. That's what was so rad about it. So I knew Paul. We just decided we wanted to ride for Schmidt sticks. Before Paul even knew the idea, really.
No,
and we presented him with the idea. And at this point, because time goes by pretty quick, a couple years back then is a fucking career. And so I knew at this point, I'm already over the hill as a skater, at least that's what I'm thinking.
At what age?
Now,
24?
No, I'm probably 19 years old.
Oh, dear God. I thought we were at the 24 and 18
This is
year
1985.
Oh, God.
So I'm probably 19 years old. And then I'm going, what am I going to do next? My best friend, my little brother, is the best. Now I've been able to kind of bring him along. Now I'm going to have him bring me along. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. This is how we made the deal happen. The best up-and-coming rider in the world, let's make his pro model. I get to be with it.
Nice.
That's how I assumed it. And he was riding for Pal, who wouldn't turn him pro. He wanted to turn pro. We've talked about his ego all night tonight. So at this point, he's ready, right? And I know he's ready. And I already have.
My ego's as big as my forehead, and that's fucking
So
big.
we got here though. I was asking about him leaving.
Big shiny
Black Label,
forehead.
And then we sort of circled around that way.
Yeah.
Are you leading to like a story of him leaving
Well,
Black
no.
Label?
When you get me talking, I'll just go.
Look.
So what happened with? I'll tell the story.
All right.
We've been talking all night. Hey, I'll tell you right now, this is the first time he and I have ever really talked about it. Is right here.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's what I'm asking.
I mean,
That's why we're
look.
here.
The bottom line is.
Turn up. God, I'm like a sweaty mess.
Did he lure you in with these?
No. It's like reaching, like, I'm like, oh, it's gonna be.